Welcome to Charts Today. My name is David Linton, and today's edition for Thursday, the 19th of March, comes to you from London. And I'm up early this morning. Things happening in the in overnight with the news flow. But the reality is, as much as it is tempting to look at the news and read all these headlines, the reality is that actually it's all in the charts. The chart represents everything that the market already knows, and this target to 129 on the 60-minute chart on Brent crude was given last week on the 12th. So that was last Thursday. We also had a very big upside target to $200 given on Brent crude, and on WTI it was 159. Now I watch these markets very closely for energy clients, and I do my morning call every morning. This morning I'm doing Charts Today first, but the interesting thing is that target was already in place last week. The market is that these price moves have generated these upside targets. So the resultant move is as a result of those buying thrusts. That's the, if you like, the potential, the pent-up demand that's there because of that buying thrust. And so we've got targets, a new one yesterday to 127, confirming the 129. So you really just can't ignore the targets. And for people that are trading it very short term, they'll be looking at the 1 minute targets, and that's going to be the thing to watch today, all the new 1 minute targets kicking in. And on the 10-minute charts, and this is why you need to look at all the different time frames. We had targets to 109. They were given and met yesterday. So that's, you just can't ignore the targets. And here we've got a target to 121. That's the 1 minute target. So the news flow might be driving this, but the reality is the targets were there. And so energy, the big thing is the effect that it's having. We're seeing gas prices rising in the US. So the whole energy mix now is rising on the basis of those targets. So gas prices just jumped yesterday. This plant in Qatar and Iran being taken out. LNG prices. This is the liquid LNG is the liquid natural gas price that really Asian markets look at, and that's leapt from 10 to 20. So it really is significant. That's where we're seeing the bigger moves. And then European gas prices also are likely to be up today. UK gas prices also. But it's interesting that the whole effect of this is very widespread. This is urea. This is the main ingredient for fertilizer. And if we look at this chart, that is leaping as well. So I do my soft commodities report. That's going to have a big effect. And by the way, I post these charts on LinkedIn. So if you follow me on LinkedIn, I've got 34,000 followers there. This one last night, Australian bond yields on Bloomberg. These were the targets met. Correlation, because I'm doing a correlation session tomorrow with the London Stock Exchange. This is the most negative it's been between the market and the oil price. This is the fertilizer prices, talking about lithium. Many of you follow me know I talked about that one at Christmas, and that's just rocketing, and various stocks. So do follow me there. So let's have a look at what's happening in the markets generally. The dollar is continuing to be strong on the medium-term chart. We're seeing it nudging this 100 level, and we are above 100 at the moment. On the short term, we can see that we had this rise. If we move higher, we activate an even bigger upside target. So that's having an impact. Sterling is lower. And we can see that we've got an interest rate decision today in the UK. The Reserve Bank of Australia actually rose rates this week. We were expecting a fall in UK rates. That's off the cards now, and the commentary will be very interesting. But you can see that's having an impact on sterling. Bitcoin sold off quite heavily yesterday. A lot of people ask me about Bitcoin, but the reality is, it is in this range. 75 is the level there where it just couldn't get above. And if we look at the short-term chart, you can see downside target given and virtually met. The NASDAQ, we have seen big falls in the NASDAQ. downside targets, and the futures this morning are down slightly. Asian markets, Japan was down 3%, so that's really significant downside target given there. So that's coming off the top. And if we look at the Aussie market, down a further 1.6%, having just made a new high, now breaking to new low, and downside targets ruling there as well. So really quite key. Gold is struggling as well. We've got a lower high, not quite yet a lower low. We are back below 5,000. We've got a downside target there on the daily. You can see the 60-minute chart falling away. And if you're trading gold, you want to be looking at the 1-minute chart. Silver's down 3.9%, let's say 4%. So that's also significant. All those downside targets being given there. That's quite key. The tech majors in the US were hit pretty hard yesterday. Apple down 1.7%. Downside target. This is the 60-minute chart. These are short term, remember. Amazon has fed okay, but down 2.5% yesterday. Google, excuse me, has been a stronger performer. We look at the daily chart, still has a downside target. And Nvidia, that's again just the October high we're seeing there. And if we look to the Dow stocks, we can see that only 2 stocks were up. Chevron, no big surprises there. This is the only stock that is bullish, bullish, bullish. And then if we look at JP Morgan, that was another one that was up, but downside target. So just because it's up on the day, you do need to look at the chart and do look at the performance. And you can see here, we had some pretty big falls. I mean, McDonald's down 3.2%, still holding its trend, but really is starting to weaken. It's getting harder and harder to find stocks that are outperforming. So that's quite important. If we look at the NASDAQ, we had a handful of stocks up, but a lot of stocks falling lower. I mean, stocks like Starbucks, a lot of staples, Coke down 4.6%. Trend is still up, but the reality is a lot of stocks are now giving downside targets. And Adobe, this has been a really sorry case, making new lows there as well. So all in all, it's a difficult market. FTSE's not open yet, but if we look at the UK market, it's going to be a case of the stocks that are in those bull trends. I covered those yesterday. You want to be in the stocks that are above the chart on all 3 time frames with upside targets, and they're few and far between. You've got to find them. So that's it for today. We're going to keep an eye on those energy prices. That's going to be the real key today, watching what happens to the crude oil. It's up 5% on Brent crude at the moment, and we are pushing on train tracks. We're pushing on towards those targets. Until tomorrow, happy charting. Bye for now.